Easiest way to make $1 million in crypto, simply explained. This is a video from Altcoin Daily. Let's get into it, man.
What altcoins do you like that are undervalued? What crypto investing mistakes should people avoid if they want to get rich? What is the best strategy to make money in crypto today? This is the easiest way to make money in
Weird
crypto.
glitch.
You will have a
I'm
better
late.
chance of being wealthy if you watch this interview. Popular YouTuber and analyst VirtualBacon shares
Alright.
his top strategies, favorite altcoins. If you want to make money in crypto, make sure you watch the entire thing. And make sure you subscribe to Altcoin Daily for daily crypto content just like this. Let's jump right into it.
Subscribe to
What
me
is the
too.
best
Subscribe to
strategy
Altcoin
to
Daily.
make money in crypto today? Like, people come into this market, they want to make money. If you were giving a friend advice, what would you say is the best way for somebody to make money in crypto?
I think, especially if you're coming in now, it's actually quite easy because of the time we are in, because of this long bleed that we have had. You can actually just go back to the drawing board and start from the top and allocate yourself in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and just understand those and build conviction in those, especially because actually a lot of people have lost conviction in these three assets this year, which is really unfortunate time, but the market just gives nobody an easy lunch. And so I think if I were to recommend a friend of mine to come into crypto, build your portfolio largely in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana at this point, they have been down.
I just finished helping out a friend of mine build his portfolio in crypto. Um, and to be honest, if you were looking for like a 3 to 5x, stay in the top 10. You're gonna get that with ease, in my opinion, right? You're not gonna have to go far down into the 100s to look for that. Um, and honestly, if you're coming to the space and you don't have a lot of risk, you don't have high risk tolerance, stick to the top 20 coins, somewhere in that range. I think you'll be fine. Um, now, don't get me wrong, there are going to be heavier movers in every single sector of the space, but you don't need to go searching for it if you're not trying to make these massive 20, 50, 100x gains, which is what I like to provide a lot. These two gentlemen don't too as much. I understand they have a lot bigger audiences than me. I'm like an ant and they're on like this massive like mountaintop, but I mean, um I have a lot of really high potential altcoins that can really accelerate your portfolio. So a good mixture of both is good. But if you're new, stick to the basics.
Significantly since Q1 this year. And then after that, find a few narratives and sectors that have done well in the mini bull run that we had in Q4 and Q1 23, 24, and then just allocate to mid to large caps in those categories because those have still quite good returns from current levels because of how much of chop we had this year. I don't think you need to look at very low caps at the moment.
Appreciate that straightforward advice. And as my questions get, lower and lower down coin market cap, you say that you think Ethereum's story is not over. People are fading Ethereum right now. But are you more bullish on Bitcoin or Ethereum going forward? How do you think about it?
Ooh, Bitcoin versus Ethereum. I
think Bitcoin.
I think I'm kind of torn. I don't think Ethereum will necessarily outperform Bitcoin at this point. It probably will be a kind of fluctuation. If you look at the ETH versus BTC chart, like
So
the
we agree.
ratio, it's
The Bitcoin dominance is what he's talking about there. You can actually search that up and figure it out for yourself as well.
kind of hard to argue that that ratio will reach all-time highs again because that's a kind of a big gap at this point. And as Bitcoin grows more and more, because Ethereum is not going to die, first of all, because it has reached institutional status adoption.
Tons.
But we even see more recently, like a lot of these demands coming from institutions, they are heavily leaning towards Bitcoin. And some of these guys, like I think VanEck even made an announcement that they don't have enough demand for their Ethereum ETF or something. So I think the status is there. Ethereum is very safe in regulators' eyes, etc. But comparatively speaking, Bitcoin will just keep sucking up majority of the liquidity. And then the ratio of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, it's hard to catch up. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Bitcoin versus Ethereum, if you really had to pick one, I'd probably pick Bitcoin at this point. But then again, you can't really replace Ethereum anymore. So I think safe to say just have both.
Yeah, okay. Oh man, okay. So he's right, but at the same time, there's a reason why there's so many different layer ones. Okay, you can use AVAX, you use Polygon, you use ETH. You can argue obviously all day long which one is better, more secure, scalable, blah 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 blah. Right? But at the end of the day, you want community on a lot of these things when you're trading on chain. I'm not talking about institutional adoption from TradFi, right? So for me, you can see a lot of the focus and attention is moving over to Solana, Sui, and eventually will be Base, in my opinion. Those are my three. I've been saying this for a while now. Anyone who's watched my videos since I started my channel 4 months ago knows this, right? So I'm not saying Ethereum's going to die by any means. I still hold a lot of tokens that are based on Ethereum. All I'm trying to say is a lot of the attention, the volume, and the holders are moving in that direction right now. We can see it on chain, right? So we'll see what that means for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Do I think if Ethereum will die? No, it's too big for that at that point, right? For that at this point. But yeah, he honestly, I agree with him. Bitcoin for sure.
And but yeah, Ethereum is. I really wish it has been able to perform like expected.
And thinking about Ethereum competitors, either other L1s or even Ethereum L2s, so I guess just like DApp platforms in general, what are other L1s or L2s that you really believe in, that you're bullish on going into 2025?
Okay.
So I think the saga of Solana is definitely not over. It's one thing to say that Solana is very performant, but there are other chains that are performant, and you can manipulate price or like have a narrative run up. You can do that to many different L1s, but the adoption number and especially the kind of stories of new retail coming in Q1 of this year into Solana, we have never seen before outside of Ethereum.
For sure.
I remember like it's kind of like a mini DeFi.
Hindsight is 2020. He's about to talk about DeFi summer for Solana. Kind of, yeah. Meme coin thing was crazy on Solana. But we're gonna see something similar pretty soon here. One more thing you need to keep in mind is a lot of people like to hate on venture capital. They say that they dump all their tokens on retail and so on and so forth. You should be using that to your advantage. If you have VC money backing a lot of these tokens that you invest in, best believe they're going to want to pump their own bags too. They're not selling right now. No one in their right mind is selling anything involving crypto at this moment. When we have 2025 that we haven't even broke 2025 yet. That's going to be the year where people might decide to take profits and between February and April, and then possibly we might get another big run up later in the year as well, closer to November, December. So yeah, he is 100% correct too. Anyways, I'll let them speak for a little bit. I'll let them speak.
Summer, but just
I'm
like meme
yapping.
coin spring on Solana, and it happened. I have never heard people actually downloading an app in crypto and it's Phantom wallet instead of MetaMask. Or Coinbase. So that has happened. That has never happened before outside of Ethereum. So I think Solana will still be very dominant in the retail adoption. When it comes to other layer ones, my stance is like you either have to be able to replicate some of the success that Solana has had in retail. So you need to have the user base already.
Yeah.
Or you are a L1 that has superior tokenomics and your token just does superbly well, even if you don't really have as many users. So out
No,
of
you need
those, I
users.
think obviously people are already onto Ton. Ton is the first case having that user base already. Base is very interesting, obviously, because of smart wallets and how they integrate Coinbase users directly. And then you have like L1s, like with just very strong tokenomics. Caspa, everyone knows the Fair's launch with no pre-mine, having supplies. Just kind of go in those two directions. Yeah, I think those are kind of what I'm looking at for layer ones.
Interesting. It seems like your heart and mind and wallet is with Solana, though. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, when it comes to both sides, like having the tokenomics and the users and actually challenging Ethereum, like it's Solana.
Let me be very clear into something they're not telling you, okay? In crypto, you want to be first. That's how you make big money. That's why I talk about launch pads a lot on my channel. I have plenty of videos talking about how to get into them, what are the best ones to invest in. But he's talking about Solana like the cat's out the bag for Solana already, okay? Like everyone knows Solana is going to be one of the top 5 chains with user amounts and volume and everything like that. So you want to try and find the next one that's going to fit that category very well. And I feel like everyone's sleeping on Base and Sui heavily. Base, I've been ranting and raving about Base forever at this point. Like, to think that they already have the Coinbase stock available on the NYSE, then they have the Coinbase centralized exchange, then they have the Coinbase wallet that's directly tied to Coinbase One. Is like, and they have the base blockchain as well. Like, you don't think all that money is gonna flow on chain at some point? It is. So like, please watch some of my other videos. I'll try and link them in the description, but just go through my channel, you'll be able to see. Um, Man, don't sleep on Base, bro. Base is going to be huge. Remember, I said this.
And yeah, I saw a recent video you put out. Very good. It was something like you're more bullish on Solana than ever, and you gave a 2025 Solana price prediction. Can you kind of walk us through like the catalysts, I guess, you think is going to take
We like
Solana
price
and to what price you're thinking?
prediction.
Yeah.
I
So
like them.
first of all, like Breakpoint is just coming up right after Singapore last week of September, and usually around Breakpoint they accumulate a year of announcements. So last year we saw Solana have a run up as well. That will be a catalyst, whatever they're upgrading. And Fire Dancer is right about to come, and even though like
Don't dodge the question. Don't dodge the question, Dennis. You better give a price prediction, bro. Don't dodge it. I want to hear. I know all of us want to hear it too.
I think people kind of misread what Fire Dancer is. People say it's a kind of next stage of scaling, but at this point, like scaling is not an issue for Solana anymore. More recently, like especially with ZK compression, um, I think Anatoly already did the calculations. You can put all the transactions that you can make in terms of DeFi, etc., on every chain onto Solana. As long as you do compression, it's already supported. So scaling is not the issue. It's more of like running Solana completely decentralized and more resilient. And we have seen that already turning around for Solana this year. Like there was
Fix the outages.
only one downtime, I think, the whole year, like one day. Better than 2023, and
Right.
2023 was better than 2022. They're clearly improving. And then Fire Dancer will only add on top of that because currently the only decentralization problem on Solana now is client decentralization. They only have 2 clients, one from Solana Labs and another from Gto, but they're both based on Rust.
I'm fucking hot. But I like wearing my hoodie throughout these videos. I like wearing my hoodie. It makes me feel comfortable, man. Fucking comfortable, dude. Judge me, man.
Programming language. And so if Rust has a critical bug, both clients go down and nobody can run the software. So Fire Dancer, they're building using a completely different tech stack, completely different programming language. So then once you have that, Solana really becomes just as decentralized as Ethereum. The validator count and the staking pools, the amount of stake split across validators is all already there. Yeah, so I think a lot to look forward to for Solana. And coming up next year, I think once it's able to solve this last point of decentralization, potentially ETFs. Currently, like those ETFs are kind of getting a lot of pushback, but I think it could come. And that's kind of the end all to push Solana to the top 3 status.
And let's say things in the Solana ecosystem
Where's
goes
the
right.
price?
Those things do go well, and Solana continues to onboard users and dApps. What is the price prediction you're thinking?
Thank you.
I think around $800. That's my. I don't remember if it's optimistic or like conservative based on the supply. I think that's 600 million for total supply by end of 2025. So it's like 4. I can't do math right now, but
you think 800?
Yes, that I think the calculation was out of Solana keeping the same total market share of all crypto, which is around like 5%. So 10 trillion based on Bitcoin hitting somewhere around 200K. So then as long as Solana keeps its current adoption curve, it's able to reach there.
Cool. Let's talk about other maybe lower cap altcoins that you're bullish on. And I just give you an open-ended question. You can take it wherever you want. You know, there's a lot of
respect to Aaron for making sure he didn't slide past that question, bro.
Quality narratives in the space today. There's AI, there's DeepIn, there's gaming. I don't know which verticals you're more bullish on. You said earlier that if you get into some of the like the higher caps in these verticals, like you think they're going up. what are the altcoins that you like that are undervalued?
Yeah, so I think for the first time in like 1 year, we actually have like price differences across these verticals. You can find truly the coins that have held up well in the past 6 months. So the main verticals, like, it's honestly, I think you need to go obvious because everything is down. So just take the most obvious coins that whenever you talk about it, people understand, people like those narratives. To me,
Arrow, Arrow on base, Aerodrome. It's had a crazy bounce every single time we've seen retracements in the market. Um, Big drop a few weeks ago. It dropped down to I think like 300 something $1 million market cap. As soon as we got a bounce and everything else, it jumped right back up to 800 million, like crazy.
those are like AI, decentralized AI is super important. Everyone knows. Gaming with gaming assets, in-game items, etc. Like that's still the clearest adoption curve. And then memes, they will still have their place. Looking at what happened this year, and then layer one we talked about, and then the other one that I think a lot of people are underestimating is RWAs. Even though people don't use the word RWA as much when talking about narratives, when you look at the performance of all the RWA coins since October, November last year, most coins outperformed AI coins. This is like pretty shocking to me. I'm not even talking about like Ondo or like Mantra, like those super high market cap ones. Even the smaller ones that people used to not care about at all. I think I had a list of like 9 coins that I looked at. 8 out of 9 have done like 8 to 10x to the peak and then kept like 3 to 5x gains since
Wow,
last November. That was like pretty
solid.
shocking to me. So those are the 5 narratives I'm positioning in. And I think RWA is kind of really under the radar right now.
Interesting. And then if you were to pull out a few specific altcoins in any one of those narratives, what
Okay.
would you say?
So I think super obvious one, Super in gaming. If you look at all of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most trendy gaming coins, Super is the only one that has kept more than like 3 to 4x gains and held up support. Everything else, like even the strongest ones like Prime, Beam, they have done about like 2.5x since November, but they retraced a lot. And I think that comes from supply control. They're good, but they do a little bit too much and too many partnerships. Super, like I talk to Elio a lot. Like he's super, focused on controlling supply and making sure like if you're not contributing, if you're not core holder, like we don't want you in this. So I think that's really showing over the past 11 months that they are the only gaming coin that's held up the floor.
Leo will
In
pump that.
AI, I'm looking at mainly decentralized AI networks now, not so much DeepIn. I think that narrative is getting saturated. So decentralized AI, I think BitTensor finally, it's looking very attractive. Yeah, and then similar projects. There's the ASI, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, the Fetch AI merger. I think that one's pretty under the radar because of majority of the token supply
Yeah,
is out. Yeah, I think those are
don't like it.
kind of some of the strongest ones I've seen.
Did I get these three right? Super for gaming,
Mhm.
BitTensor for decentralized AI, and then was ASI another
Yeah,
pick?
yeah,
That's AI as well.
yeah.
As we're wrapping up with some of my final questions, I want to, encourage our audience to go subscribe to you. I think you put out great work. Another, kind of a big picture, how to best do well in the crypto market. I asked you earlier, what's the best strategy to kind of make money in crypto? Now let's talk about the fact that a lot of people lose money in crypto. Everybody tries to make money. So many people end up losing money. I like to think my audience is a little bit more advanced and profitable, and I think yours is too. What crypto investing mistakes should people avoid if they want to get rich?
So I think very
Listen
practical
up.
right now is don't trade too much, especially at this pivotal stage. We're just about to see the rate cuts happen.
It's not time for that. Trading will come back into the markets next year when everything's just going up and up to the right, and you can use a little bit of leverage, full amount of leverage. Right now, there's things that are so undervalued still. There's so much coins undervalued. I talk about them all the time. Some of the biggest ones is Neoxa, right? There's a research coin. Um, SNFTs have just recently started pumping. Gala Music, Chain GPT, right? There's just a few of the ones I've talked about, but there's so many undervalued coins still. Lithium, right? Arrow, as well as super undervalued from where it's going to end up at. Turbos on Sui. So be sure to do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor, but you don't need to be trading stuff and cutting in and out with 100% gain or 50% gain at the moment. You're only probably going to screw yourself um, in the next 6 months to a year because these things are going to do a lot more than a few X's. So,
And we're potentially witnessing the first couple months of the bull run. It's the last bit of uncertainty. So if you trade too much, like each dollar I lose, I think of it like losing $10 for the next year, because I know the coins that I have conviction in, and if, instead of losing that $1 in a trade, if I just put it in and hold it for a year, that should be worth on average like $8 to $10 by the end of the bull run. So have that mindset. Like, why would I still keep trading at this such an
yeah.
important like capital conservation stage?
Another good habit to take into your life, something I've done. A lot of people call me cheap. A lot of people say I'm way too cheap. I don't enjoy life enough. All this stuff. This is how I think about it because in traditional finance, if you go out to eat with your, I'm not saying don't go out to eat with your family, friends, your girl or whatever, but you go out to eat, right? Let's say you spend $100. Just like he said, bro, every dollar is $10 because to get a 10x crypto is nothing. So for me and this type of stuff that I like to invest in with a little more higher risk tolerance, every $100 I spend feels like 2,000 because I know I can turn it into 2,000. I know I can potentially even turn it into maybe 4 to 5 grand as well. You know what I mean? And this is especially true when it comes to launch pads because those things give hundreds of X's. So why am I gonna go spend money I don't have to at the moment when I know I can just keep it in my pocket and eventually see that same investment turn into a couple $1,000s every time I spend $100? Just something to think about.
And then the other is you got to protect your psychology. So many people have been burnt this year with over trading, with the choppy market, that they're now giving up at the worst time possible. So I think another side effect of over trading is like you kind of lose the hope and the conviction that you have for long term. So if
Yeah.
you're finding that and you're getting mad for no reason on your bags going down, just like stop, like take a breather. And going into October, November, Q4 this year, things should start to look up again. And
Yeah.
you want to keep some of your sanity so you can come back with the same enthusiasm.
Right.
Falling in love with your coins, yes or no?
No.
Depending on which coins. I think people should
No.
keep falling in love with like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. That's good.
No.
I think right now, if you're still in
Nothing.
love with those bags, you have conviction. And I think that's good for good.
You never fall in love with any investment. I don't care what it is. Nothing's forever. I'm not saying Bitcoin and ETH are going anywhere anytime soon, but you never fall in love with an investment because it can change course at any time for damn near any reason. This is life. Nothing is for sure, and there are no certainties, good or bad.
Advice. Not all coins though, right? Especially newer coins that have just come around in 1 year, maximum 2 years. Things come and go if you haven't gone through multiple cycles.
I like that. And please plug yourself. Tell our audience what you're doing, what you focus on in your channel.
Yeah, so I have been in crypto for
Free
this is my like
promo.
seventh year, very heavy, and
Nice.
I do a lot of investing, but I also do a lot of educational content. You can find me on
This
YouTube,
is my third and a half.
Twitter. I'm very active there as well.
Cool, dude. Thank you so much, Virtual Bacon.
This is my third and a half year in crypto. The reason why I decided to start a YouTube channel at least 3 years after because I didn't know what I was doing yet. This is the first year like I really had everything, not everything figured out because you can always learn, but at least my strategy and my edge in the market was. I talk about it all the time: yield farming and launch pads, for sure. Um, and just finding undervalued altcoins. That's where I've made the bulk of my money. But that's why I wasn't rushing to become a YouTuber or like sell you anything really because I didn't know enough at the time. So I think I have a lot of knowledge to give, and that's why I'm on YouTube. I'm giving out free games. So if you like that, subscribe. Support both of these gentlemen's channels. They have massive channels. I think Virtual Bacon's sitting at like 415K subs, and Altcoin Daily is like 1.5 mil. I'm at 100, just past 100. I'm very grateful and thankful. So thank you for helping me hit 100 subs. Um, Many more to come. and just share this video around so we can help push these kinds of videos out and information, because I think it's good for people to come into the space. I always talk about that. So anyways, see you in the next one.